It's official, this show tells standalone episodes. It wasn't clear to me after the first 2 episodes, the 3rd episode felt weirdly rushed in terms of character development, and now I get the full picture. These are standalone episodes. Now, I still think that some character arcs can be spread more over time, and conflicts can get worse before they get better. They can play around more, but the show decides to do it this way. Hi fellow Disney Plus watchers, this is Thoughts After a Disney Plus Watch, where we review everything new Disney Plus coming out, and I'm glad you're watching. Okay, what this episode does is taking 2 characters, giving them a conflict to overcome, and then, boom, connecting these storylines. Marvyn and Olive. At the start of the episode, they run into a problem or a goal, and then at the end, 2 very different stories are connected in a fun way. Oh, just to be sure, if you haven't seen the 4th episode of Big Shot, now's the time to put this in your watch later list if you want. Spoilers. Did I say spoilers already? Here it comes. Let's go. So this episode follows Marvyn trying to buy out a new player, Savannah Gibson, and this upsets the team. Meanwhile, Olive is having some problems of her own, breaking a contract with a powerful bikini and swimwear company after she discovers how terrible this company is for its employees. But this choice of hers gets her into more trouble as the company now threatens with a lawsuit, which is completely off screen by the way, we're just being told. So 2 completely different storylines collide. I wouldn't have guessed that this episode would connect these stories in a clever way that is satisfying and both pretty funny when I started watching it. My favorite line in this episode was definitely, bottom line, it cost me a full scholarship not to get a game-changing new player, but to keep one we already have. In light of Marvyn being a total ass, bragging about his great in the living room negotiation skills, this is hilarious and is a great payoff. I gotta give it this episode. It's a very well set up story with a good payoff. I still would have liked this specific show to let its stories keep up for a little longer and let some issues escalate some more, like episode 3 last week was really rushed to me. But I gotta give it this episode. It gave a redemption to Olive, some background information about her family, while at the exact same time paying off this story about wanting the best players, the best team, but in the end, choosing team spirit. So in a final selfless act, Marvyn decides to give the scholarship to Olive, a player that he already had, but redeeming himself from that fantasy he needed Savannah Gibson for the team. These stories, whilst having very separate setups, came together nicely. By the way, if you're one that can't get enough of Disney Plus, this is the only channel that's specifically and absolutely only Disney Plus thoughts and reviews. Episode per episode, we all watch together. You'll have an idea on what to expect. Click that button and that bell if you want to follow along. Thank you so much. Now I want to talk about something I didn't like too, and I think it really kept this episode from being really good. The episode is sometimes a bit preachy. The dialogue is pretty poorly written in some places. Let me say some places, because this episode still got some really nice touches of clever writing. Like, for example, I love the she-make explanation of that drama teacher. I love the little touch like Louise Krasinski admitting, I can see it, after Mouse saying, it's so weird to think of Marvyn as a dad, because that harkens back to the way Louise's dad kinda acted as a coach to Louise and interfered with Marvyn's team methods. Did you catch that small character moment? I love these kind of touches. Stuff like the principal, Sherilyn, gesturing Marvyn to get off her desk before he has a chance to sit down. You know, a sorta don't get too comfortable moment. Love it. But in some places, the dialogue gets a little too preachy for me. The scene where Olive is telling her teammates she posted that video shaming the company, Louise saying, you did the right thing. Companies get away with this stuff all the time and no one holds them accountable. They can't take advantage of us if we call them out. Stuff like this, I mean, she's right, but it didn't feel organically written to me. Another example of this is the dinner scene where Marvyn and Holly visit Olive and her parents. There's something about the dialogue there that doesn't make it hit. The lack of subtext is definitely a part of it. It's all said so literally I don't immediately believe it and doesn't pull me in. Overall, the episode worked because of the connection of Marvyn and Olive's story. These 2 things coming together. Not all the dialogue was that organic, but overall I think it's a decent episode. Not blown away, this show does have more room to grow, but it's nice that we get to know these teammates a little more, and I think by the end of the show we will be rooting for them. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. If you're interested in thoughts on previous episodes, it's all in the description, or you can browse the channel page. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to leave a like, that's cool, and tomorrow I will be here with a review of The Bad Batch episode 2. Next week I won't be reviewing Disney Plus because I will be on a small trip. Thanks in advance for understanding. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya.